He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me.
Jon Jones recently called out Tom Aspinall in the most disrespectful manner imaginable, yet this wasn't typical trash talk, it was deeply personal. The insult carried years of bottled resentment. And what Jones revealed off camera exposed precisely why he's been avoiding this matchup. The rise of the underdog, the tale of Tom Aspinall's meteoric ascent to title contention, embodies everything that makes combat sports captivating. Pure determination, unwavering belief, and the bravery to seize a moment. When the entire world is watching, when Aspinall entered the octagon at UFC 295, he wasn't only competing for a belt, he was fighting to prove that sometimes the most dangerous fighter in the cage is the one no one expected. The night of November 11, 2023 at Madison Square Garden will forever remain carved into UFC history. With just 1 minute and 9 seconds gone in the opening round, the referee was forced to wave it off. The underdog had achieved the unthinkable. Tom Aspinall had just knocked out one of the most feared strikers in the heavyweight division, and by doing so he became the new UFC interim heavyweight champion of the world. But to truly grasp the weight of this moment, we must turn back time and explore the extraordinary events that shaped this career-defining triumph. This wasn't a matchup scheduled months ahead, this wasn't a carefully constructed title bout with a full training camp behind it. No, this was something far more dramatic, far more inspiring, and far more terrifying than.
Oh, I can't even tell you, Joe, it's been a crazy 2.5 weeks. Oh my God, I just want to say to everyone at home, listen, if you ever get the chance to do something and you're scared to do it, you should definitely do it, because there's a chance it's going to pay off.
Anyone could have predicted 2.5 weeks. That was all the notice Tom Aspinall received before walking into the biggest fight of his entire career. While most contenders spend months preparing, analyzing footage, drilling strategies, and mentally gearing up for battle, Aspinall had barely 14 days to ready himself for a showdown against one of the most lethal heavyweights alive. The pressure alone would have broken most fighters before they ever entered the cage. But here's what separates champions from challengers, what divides legends from forgotten names, what marks the difference between those who create greatness and those who simply dream about it. When faced with a chance that frightened him to his core, when handed an opportunity that could either define or destroy his career, when standing at the edge of destiny with fear gripping his heart, Tom Aspinall didn't flinch. He didn't make excuses, he didn't beg for time, he just said,
he's a big scary guy, you know, he's a really big, I've never been as scared in my life as fighting this guy. But
yes, the honesty in Aspinall's words is refreshing. In a sport where most hide behind arrogance and false bravado, he admitted what few fighters would ever confess: he was absolutely terrified. His opponent wasn't merely big, he was a proven knockout artist with power capable of ending careers, the kind of fighter who made even the boldest men hesitate before signing the contract. Yet despite the fear, despite the odds, despite having less than 3 weeks to prepare, Aspinall discovered something within himself that true.
You know what, I got a lot of power too, and I believe in myself. I really believe in myself. I've worked so hard over the years, and this man right here, my father, has worked harder than anybody.
Champions are made of. This is where the story becomes truly powerful, where it goes beyond another UFC matchup and turns into something deeper, something meaningful. Tom Aspinall's journey wasn't a solo mission. Behind him stood his father, supporting every grueling session, every painful loss, every moment of uncertainty. The man who sacrificed more than anyone could imagine, who spent endless hours nurturing his son's dream, who believed in him when others.
This belt is dedicated to my father.
Doubted. This belt is dedicated to my father. When Aspinall said those words after his victory, it wasn't for the cameras, it symbolized a lifetime of effort, sacrifice, and belief. It was the reward for every early training session, every financial burden, every moment of doubt overcome. The belt wasn't just metal and leather, it was the embodiment of their shared dream, finally realized. The technical aspects.
Tom, this was a sensational right hand you landed on the tempo. You had him rocked, you saw him wobble. That was the second one that put him down, but you wobbled him with one before that.
Of the fight were just as remarkable. What makes Aspinall's victory even more compelling is how he achieved it. It wasn't a lucky punch, it wasn't a random knockout from nowhere. Aspinall demonstrated the kind of composed aggression that separates good fighters from great ones. He landed a powerful right hand that stunned his rival, and when he spotted the opening, when he sensed vulnerability, he didn't hesitate. He charged forward and delivered the.
Yeah, to be honest, I was struggling with the distance a little bit. I thought his arms are really long, so I felt a bit funny, but we got there in the end.
Decisive finish. Even in triumph, Aspinall's humility and honesty stood out. He acknowledged the challenges he encountered, admitted the distance felt off, and confessed that something didn't click. But this is what defines champions. They find a way to win even when things aren't perfect. They adapt, they endure, they push through until they find the answer. One of the most vital assets Tom Aspinall brings to the heavyweight division is something that can't be taught or replicated, something no training program can produce: his speed in a division built on brute strength, and devastating knockouts where fighters often move like charging trucks where precision sometimes.
One of the things that separates you from a lot of the other heavyweights is speed, and that speed was on display today.
Yields to raw force. Tom Aspinall delivers something entirely different. He moves like a middleweight trapped in a heavyweight's frame. His hand speed is astonishing for his size, his footwork is exceptional for his class, and his ability to close range and create angles is nearly unmatched among fighters above 240 pounds. But perhaps the most impressive thing about Tom Aspinall isn't just his physical prowess, technical mastery, or championship skill. What truly defines him is his character, his values, and his outlook on.
Let's remember the people who died for us years ago. None of us would be here today if it wasn't for our ancestors, no matter which country you're from. Thank you to everybody.
On what truly matters in life. In a moment when most fighters would focus entirely on themselves, when the spotlight was fixed solely on their own triumph, when they had every reason to bask in personal glory, Tom Aspinall chose to use his platform for something greater. He reminded everyone watching to respect those who came before us, to remember the sacrifices made by earlier generations, and to acknowledge that every achievement stands on the foundation built by those who paved the way. The call-out heard around the world. If there's one defining element of modern mixed martial arts, it's the mastery of the call-out. Gone are the days when fighters quietly waited for the UFC to choose their next opponent, when matchmakers alone shaped the direction of careers, when athletes stayed silent and let their performances speak for them. In today's UFC, fighters must also be entertainers, promoters, and marketers. As much as they are competitors, they must sell fights, create excitement, and build stories that capture fans across.
Jon Jones is probably watching this, so send him a message.
Hello, John. I have nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for it.
Globe. Tom Aspinall understood this completely, and when the time came to send a message to Jon Jones, the man widely considered the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, the man who ruled the light heavyweight division for years before stepping into heavyweight, the man who seemed nearly untouchable inside the octagon, Aspinall didn't hold back. The simplicity and directness of Aspinall's call-out are what make it so impactful. There's no complex trash talk, no personal insults, no desperate stunts to chase attention. Instead, there's only pure confidence. Aspinall isn't trying to convince anyone or seek validation from the media. He's simply declaring what he believes as truth, that he's better than Jon Jones and that he would defeat the legendary champion in a fight. This level of self-belief, especially aimed at someone with Jon Jones's history and accolades, demands immense courage. Jon Jones isn't just another fighter, he's a generational phenomenon, a once-in-a-lifetime athlete who has beaten nearly every elite opponent placed before him. His fight IQ is remarkable, his skill is refined, his ability to adjust mid-battle is renowned, and his record speaks volumes. To look at a fighter of that stature and claim "I'm better than you" isn't merely bold, it's audacious. But this is where the narrative takes an intriguing turn, where the story becomes deeper than a confident challenger calling out an established king, where we see the strategic mindset that separates intelligence.
The Jon Jones that you saw will not be the Jon Jones that fights Tom Aspinall. Teddy Atlas. I had this conversation with Teddy, and I said, Coach, he's not missing. He's spinning around backwards where he can't even see the opponent. I don't think he missed a shot against
fighters from Reckless Ones. The discussion about a potential Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall matchup wasn't just about who would win, it revolved around age, size, timing, and legacy. Analysts and experts broke down every detail, weighing advantages and weaknesses, and what they uncovered was fascinating. One respected analyst analyzed the matchup in a way that revealed exactly why the fight was so intriguing, and why Jon Jones might have genuine reasons to be wary.
When I spoke to Tom said he was watching slow motion. He said, I got all the respect for Stipe, but he was simply too slow, and Jon was too slow. Not one of those spins, not one of those things would have I ever been.
This analysis highlights something vital about Jon Jones's recent performances against Stipe Miocic. Jones appeared absolutely dominant, landing nearly everything he threw. His precision was flawless, his timing impeccable, and his fight IQ undeniable. Yet here lies the uncomfortable truth few acknowledge. Stipe Miocic, though a legendary heavyweight champion with an outstanding career, was no longer in his prime. Time spares no one, and in combat sports, Father Time remains undefeated. Tom Aspinall's take on the Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic fight is especially revealing. As a top-tier heavy,
and that is a real reality with youth. Generally, you will give that back for size. Like if Tom Aspinall turns out to be the faster of the two, oh, by the way, and he's that big, that'd be something. That'd be something special.
Heavyweight. Observing the bout, he noted both fighters seemed to move slower than what he's used to. Those spinning attacks that Jones executed beautifully, those creative strikes that impressed fans and commentators, those flashes of brilliance. Aspinall insists none of them would have landed against him because he wouldn't have been in range to be hit. That isn't arrogance, it's a calculated statement from a fighter assessing based on his physical gifts and fighting style. The analyst agreed, pointing out something that becomes more critical as athletes age. This is where the potential matchup turns truly fascinating from a tactical standpoint in combat sports. There's always a balance between size and speed. Bigger fighters often give up quickness in exchange for reach, strength, and weight, but Tom Aspinall seems to be an exception, a heavyweight who breaks that mold. He combines elite-level speed with true heavyweight power and size. If he proves to be faster than Jon Jones while also being larger, that combination could create major problems.
I guess the clarifying question then is, if Dana and Hunter do come to you after this fight, they make the figures make sense to you, would you then be open to fighting Tom Aspinall, or are you categorically thinking, he does nothing for me, I will not fight that guy?
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me.
Problems for the legendary champion. Considering all of this, given the hype surrounding the matchup and the interest from fans and media alike, most assumed Jon Jones would jump at the chance to assert his dominance against the new wave of contenders. Many expected a competitor of his drive and legacy to embrace the opportunity to silence a young challenger bold enough to claim superiority, but that's not what happened. Instead, when asked directly about fighting Tom Aspinall when given the perfect chance to accept and add another defining win to his already historic career, Jon Jones gave an answer that stunned the MMA world and left fans everywhere frustrated.
If you're a person that wants to see me really challenged, then I get it. 7 years younger, like 35 pounds bigger than me, right? I get it. It's like, wow, this Jon's so good. We finally found someone way younger and way bigger than him. Let's see how he does against that. I get that narrative. But for me, if you were my manager, if you were on my team, why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Business-wise, it makes more sense. Fight the, I'm gonna call him this, fight the nobody that may be more dangerous, or fight the guy with all the accolades who's incredibly dangerous, but it actually will affect your legacy.